Hello everyone, good evening. Omkar Joshi, course instructor for computational thinking. I will be conducting today's session, which is an open session for week 11. So let's start the session. Whoever has doubt, please raise your hand and we'll go in that particular order. So right now I'm seeing only Shiva is there who has raised his hand. So yes, Shiva, go on.
Thanks, Omkar. Quick question. The word utmost, right, in algorithms, it's the general question. Is it less than or equal to or less than, strictly less than?
It is less than equal to.
Utmost is less than or equal to. So if
Yes, when I
somebody,
say at most 5, that means anything which is till 5 is okay. Anything 5 and below is okay.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, it's a question on the week 10 assignment. One question is utmost, and I got a slight confusion whether I should be going for less than or equal to or less than. So that's why I asked you. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Right. Anybody else? No doubts. Week 11, week 10, or even before that.
So just wanted to ask one doubt, like you have kept 2 revision session, one from week 1 to 6 and then 7 onwards.
Correct.
So can we bring a specific doubts for that specified weeks in that particular session, right?
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that is expected. If we run out of doubts, of course, we will make it open for other doubts also. But it becomes easier for everybody, right? If we divide it like that.
Yeah. That becomes easier for us also to cover up that much portion and come exclusively for that doubts.
Exactly. So that's how, I mean, that's how it will be.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yes, anyone have any doubt? This is strange behavior I'm seeing for first time. There are around 50 people and no doubts. Till last week, the sessions were running beyond 2 hours, and now suddenly no doubts, even in first 5 minutes.
Sir, can I ask you a doubt?
Yeah, Shilpa, go on.
Yeah.
Sir, which week are we doing?
Okay, so this is an open session for week 11. But if you have any doubts from previous week, I don't mind answering because I don't see any doubts coming from week 11. So
once you
raise your hand and we can you can ask doubts. So as I was talking to Shilpa, let me give her a chance, then I will come to you, Divya. Okay. Yeah, Shilpa, go on.
Yeah, sir, when I'm going through the videos, I had a doubt regarding this class and objects.
Okay,
and,
that's week 10.
That's week 10.
Yeah.
In the class and objects, they were mentioning that the whole train sets is an object. And I am not clear about what is an object. I understood that class is a combination of objects. Am I right?
No, that's not how it is. Have you attended my previous session, the last Thursday session?
No, sir. I was unable to.
I think it's better if you watch that, because I've spent around 45 to 50 minutes explaining this whole class and object business in that. I don't mind repeating it, but it's unnecessary, right? If it's already out there.
In that case, I'll go through that.
Yeah, because I think Divya will tell you. I'm sure she was there, and many other people from here might be there. We had a very in-depth discussion on these two concepts of classes and objects. So maybe you would take a look at that. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Do you have any other specific doubt? Then I
nothing else.
I will prefer to answer that.
No, nothing else. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks. Yeah, Divya, you were saying something? Okay, so Satyam, you are asking about any specific timestamp, right? To be honest, the entire live session was about classes and objects and how procedures work. I mean, 90% of that live session was about week 10. So I will suggest it's better you watch the entire 2 hours. Maybe if you are in a hurry, then maybe you can watch it at 2x or something. and maybe if you struggle a bit, then maybe you can slow it down. But in general, the almost entire session was about week 10. So I think it's best if you watch the whole session rather than focusing on any specific timestamp.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Anybody else have anything? I think Shashi, you were also there, no, in that session?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I was revising the what do you call activity questions, or I was going through in depth for the week 1 to 6. So wherein there is a week 5 activity 3, that is activity question week 5.33. So the explanation is given. Could you please put some more light on that?
Sure. Week 5, right?
Week 5, 5.3 activity question 3. It's
Yes.
5.3.3.
Yeah. Is my shared screen visible?
Just a second.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
let me check the
Third question. Yeah, this one.
Yeah,
This one.
this one, right?
Right.
Okay. So what happens is consider this course data set, the list of okay. Okay. So the question is, have you understood the question, right?
Yeah, understood the question.
Mhm.
The only thing is in how we have computed that and how the option is 4. I've understood the logic. If you can make me understand in a little better manner, I'll be able to remember that better.
Okay. Sure. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
you're
So
audible.
the thing is, what we are asking, we have given the sequence numbers of toppers of individual subjects, those 3 subjects, and the question is about, we are asking who all are there who are toppers in 2 subjects, right? That means you have to find the intersection of mathematics and physics,
Yes.
mathematics and chemistry, and physics and chemistry.
Yeah.
So you have these 3 different lists, right? The 3 different outputs you will get after those intersections. Then you are supposed to do union of those 3 results.
Right.
Right? That's the logic behind it. So, I don't know, you are asking how to do it manually or in terms of pseudocode. That, I'll tell you the best way to write for this is write a procedure which will find intersection. And to that, first you pass the mathematics list and physics list. Then you call that procedure again, and this time change the parameters as mathematics and chemistry. And then the third time when you call that same procedure, pass physics and chemistry as parameters. So you call same procedure 3 times with 3 different parameters. And ultimately the procedure is supposed to return an intersection of those lists, right? So for example, if we pass mathematics and physics, you will get that 11 and 23. These 2 are the common elements among the first 2 lists, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Similarly for physics and chemistry, 11 and 18 are the 2, right?
Right.
And then between mathematics and chemistry, I think only 11 is the one which is common.
Yeah.
And so you have these 3 different lists now, right? Now you are supposed to do union of these 3. Okay, so that's 11, 23, 14, and 18.
Now I have just one thing here, like will the answer 11, 23, 14 and 18, will the sequence matter here?
In general, with respect to list, sequence matters, right? But we have not specified anything, in what sequence we are asking, or we have not mentioned anything regarding that, right?
Yeah, I got tumbled upon there only. I thought the sequence here would be really important. So maybe the sequence in which you are taking an intersection might always differ. So that's why my sequence also differed. The order also differed.
Yeah, correct. See, ideally with respect to list, yeah, as you said, with respect to list, sequence matters. Absolutely right. But actually whatever operations we are doing over here, right, they are more like set operations, right? Rather than list operation, if you consider, first we did intersection and then we did union, correct?
Perfect.
Which are more like set operations. And with respect to set, if you know from mathematics, order doesn't matter, right? But in computational thinking or any, I mean, at least whatever we have seen so far, we do not have any concept of set as such in computational thinking, right? That's why we had to go ahead with list. But even any option with these 4 numbers in it will be the correct answer for this question. So
Okay,
the
perfect.
sequence actually matters with respect to list, but this example, I mean, this question is like a exception to that particular, that particular rule.
Perfect. Similarly, activity question 5.6, if you permit me to ask another doubt
Yeah,
added to
sure.
this. 5.6, question number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 and 3, both means I was, I'm
Now
not
here
from,
sequence
yeah.
matters, okay? As I said,
Right,
sequence
right.
always matters. That was, I mean, that you can consider as maybe one odd scenario where it may not have it, may not make much difference. But okay, here what's the doubt in first question?
So here in the first question, when we are identifying the options, I think option number C or something was correct here,
Okay,
if I
let's
remember
see.
it correctly.
Fine, but whichever is the correct one.
So
yeah.
when we are finding, where already B is given, how do I fill the code? Means I'm struggling to really understand this thing. Means coming back from week 5 again.
Okay, fine. Well, what we're doing, the following is a special pseudocode used to sort the contents of a list A in ascending order and stores the result in another B. Choose the correct code fragment to complete it, right?
Right.
Okay. And in this, as if you observe all the options, it is somewhere it is assumed, I mean, it's given that till 5 it is sorted. I mean, it is something, if you observe all options, we say X is less than 5, X than the 5. From where that 5 came from? Because till 5 it is already sorted. It is ascending, it's ascending order.
Yeah.
So till 5 actually we don't have to do anything whatsoever. We can simply pick one element from A and append it to where in B, right? B should be the sorted list. So we can pick just one from here, put it in B. Pick 2 from here, put it in B. That we can do till 5.
Right.
So this, if X is less than, not less than, yeah, less than equal to, or if you observe the correct option, right? That's what we are saying. If X is less than equal to, we are simply picking the element and putting it in B.
Okay.
Correct? Till that point, is that part clear?
Yeah, that part is clear.
Okay. Beyond that, observe the remaining numbers from 9 onwards.
Right.
If you observe now, they are in descending order. See, this is not a generic question. This question is very specific to this given A, right? Usually when we write pseudocodes in graded assignments or practice assignment, we usually prefer some standardized code which will work on any given input, right? Where we do that insertion sort algorithm and everything. But this is a very specific case where till 5 it is ascending order and 9 onwards it is descending order, right?
Right.
So in this case, what should we do? We should put that 9 into B, but at the end of the B.
Okay.
Correct? And then when 8 comes, 8 should come as a second last element in the B.
Yes.
So that is why first we were appending like this. B is equal to B plus plus X. That means whatever the current value of B, append X into it.
Yes.
But if the element X is, if it's not, I mean, sorry, this one. If X is not less than equal to 5, then what we are doing? We simply reverse this order over here. First, it was what? B plus plus X, right? In this case, what we did with X plus plus C. I mean, this is still C. Okay, this is not B. This is C. I mean, the third empty list, right? That's what we are talking about.
Right.
It's like a extra temporary list which we are creating, right?
Yeah.
So this 9, 8, 7, 6. Just remember this order: 9, 8, 7, 6. So what happens when your 9 came? You said C is equal to 9 plus plus C. Initially, C is empty.
Right.
So now your C becomes 9.
So it means till the time it was ascending, we started dropping the digits directly into B. But then when we saw the reverse thing, then we started putting it in C, and then the list of C got appended to B. Final result came like that, right?
Because of this Yes, but because of this final, whatever the
Yes.
for loop is already there, the for each is there. Yes, correct.
Yes.
That is
So-
what we are doing.
Yeah,
And as I said, this will work only if you have a list which is in this structure, where
This fashion.
till 5 it is ascending and beyond that it is descending. Then only this code will work. Otherwise, it won't.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And the third one in the same assignment. Same one. Third
Yeah.
one.
Third one. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a full-fledged insertion sort code, which
Right.
we have discussed in that particular lectures 5.6.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So here, same thing like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it will first sort it, and then the rest of the list will come, right?
No, this L is not going to get sorted. What we are saying, this is the current value. This L is equal to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is already there.
Okay.
And this sorted list insert, okay, this particular, it's a procedure explained in this lecture 5.6. I don't know whether you remember this from lecture, but Professor Madhavan Mukund explained this particular procedure, sorted list insert, in this lecture. Okay.
Right, right.
And in that lecture, what he's saying is, you pass one list L, comma, second parameter is some value. So what this procedure do is, this procedure will take this number, whatever number you give, and this number will be inserted into this L at its correct location.
Yes. So if I say if I execute the very first line, it will be just next to the 5, right?
No. Hold on. That's not how it will write. According to the sorted logic, forget about these 4 numbers.
Okay.
Ideally, where 5 should come, as per if it's ascending order, then where 5 should come?
Last May, right?
Last, right? It should
Yeah.
come at the very last.
Right.
Right? Where this 4 should come?
Now before to this 5. Isn't it?
Right? That's the last element.
Right.
Then third becomes the third element from the last, right?
Right.
That's how the actual sorting will happen. I mean, irrespective, I mean, these 5 are not sorted, I agree.
So this list will not get disturbed, and the coming list will be there in a sorted form, right?
Yeah. So, but what happens is, the way this particular procedure is written, right? This equal to sign, whether it's less than or less than equal to, that also has an impact, right? Because of that, 5, as you said, 5 is the highest among all these. Right. But this 5, whether we are doing it less than or less than equal to, will have impact. And that is why actually this answer will come like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, till here it is fine. But this 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, that 5 will come at the end. So if you observe this 5, right, from this 5, 3, 1, this is actually the original list. Right. Then as we were saying, 5 is greater than or equal to all given numbers.
So first, when we executed this particular 5, it came at the last of the list and then started sorting it. That's what I can understand.
No, I mean, it's actually, you cannot say sorting, because even the input list itself is not sorted. So definitely your output is never going to be sorted, right?
Okay.
So what happens is, you pass this, I mean, consider the first ever call, L, 5, right? That time what happens? Your original list was 5, 3, 2, 1.
Right.
And then you got this new 5, which you're supposed to insert where? You still don't know where the location is.
Right.
You keep checking whether that X is less than the first element. Is it less? No. Because 5 are equal. It's not less, right? That's what I was talking about. Whether it is less or less than equal to, that will have impact on the answer. But if you go back and check this particular procedure, it's there right here in this lecture, you will see it is less than. That's how professor have implemented it.
Okay.
That is why this 5 is not less than this 5.
Okay.
Not less than this 4, not less than 3, not less than 2, not less than 1. So it got inserted at the end.
Okay.
That's
I understand. That I understand that whenever the list does not execute, and then there is an additional function that if it is not appended anywhere, you put it at the last, right?
Correct. But if it is less, you put at that very location.
Yes, that's why this 5 is at the last, and rest all elements are
at the beginning.
when it is comparing. Yeah.
Because next 4 came, 4 is less than first 5, right? So you simply insert it at the beginning of the list.
Yes. And had this list been sorted, there had been a totally different operation altogether.
Yeah, that is actually previous question. This is question 2.
Right. Right.
Originally it is sorted, so final answer is completely
Yeah.
sorted now.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Okay, so next is Sapna. Sapna, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's your doubt?
By mistake, I raised my hand.
Okay, okay, fine. No issue. So next is Mahi. Mahi, are you there?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what's the today's agenda? What we are going to
Okay,
do?
so the today's session is an open session for week 11. That's the official agenda of the session. But if you have any doubts from any other weeks, I'm more than happy to answer, because I don't see anyone having doubts from week 11 as such. So anything, whatever you have doubts from computational thinking, I don't mind answering that. But preferably, I will give higher priority to the doubts from week 11 or 10.
Sir, I have a doubt from week 11, sir.
Yeah, Piyush, go on, tell me.
Sir, I'm Sridhar.
Sridhar, okay. Over here, it is showing Piyush. Hello, Sridhar, are you there? Okay, Mahi, your hand is raised. Are you there? You have doubt?
Sir, I have a doubt on the abstraction topic,
Okay,
which is
tell
on
me.
week 10.
Yeah, that is fine. Any week. Okay, tell me, what's your doubt?
Sir, I'm not able to understand the lecture, what they want to say.
Abstraction is in week 10 or 11?
So that's
Okay, this one,
abstraction.
abstraction
Yes.
from week 10. Okay. Well, in what reference you heard it? I mean, whatever you know, just give me some pointers, how much you have understood, then maybe I can build on that. Yes, Mahi? Have you watched this lecture, Concept of Abstraction? Hello, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you at least tell me what you understood, what you have not? Can you just give me any inputs on where you have stuck so that I can build on it? Do you at least remember what professors have done in this lecture? Forget about abstraction. What they're doing in this lecture. Do you have, I mean, do you remember anything?
So,
Yes, Mahi? Hello, are you there? Mahi, I think there is some network issue, or I don't know what's happening, but I'm not able to hear you if you're speaking.
Yes, sir, I'm back, sir.
Okay, so Mahi, I will come back to you. Maybe if you have some
Okay.
network issue or microphone issue or something, please check that, and we will discuss abstraction once you come back. So I'll move to Sridhar. Yeah, Sridhar, you were saying something earlier. I think you got lost connection.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
11.3, sir.
Okay.
Question number 2.
Mhm.
Question number 2,
So many questions. Okay.
7 and 8.
Question number 2, 7, and 8. Okay. So this is
Me
there
too,
is a
same
fixed.
doubt. Question number 7 and 8.
Okay. Anyway, let's finish this 2 and then we'll move to 7 and 8. Okay. Yeah. So question number 2. What is it? There is a fixed size buffer in producer consumer problem. Okay. So, and the
Sir,
answer is false. Okay. But I mean, what's the doubt in this?
the doubt, I am not able to, sir, I marked the answer true, sir.
Okay. Why? I mean, what was your rationale behind that?
No, sir, nothing, sir. I
Okay.
just want to
See, it's
understand
more
it.
like a, I don't think it is dependent on the previous question. It's a more like a general question, right? We are
Yes, sir.
asking in producer consumer problem, we use some concept called as buffer, right? And the question is whether the
Yes,
buffer
sir.
size is fixed or not. I mean, the statement says it is fixed, and then the answer is false because it's not. There is no constraint on the buffer size. We can keep it flexible as per our requirement. We can increase it, we can reduce it. That is always in our hands. That's the only thing which is there in that question. I mean, it's just one sentence and true false question. So I don't know what more explanation I can give. It's not. There is no constraint on the size of buffer. Okay, it's
can be
pretty
anything.
flexible. Yeah, it's pretty flexible as per
Yes.
our requirement. We can adjust the size.
Sir, in question number 7,
Yeah.
I marked the answer 2.
Okay.
Why I marked that, I will tell you. How many different situations are possible when only producer is allowed to access the buffer?
Correct.
And currently 3 data elements are there in buffer, and the maximum it can contain 5 data element.
Correct.
So what did I do? I thought that the producer can maximum put 2 data elements in the buffer.
Correct.
Because maximum 5 data element it can consist.
Yeah.
So the answer should be 2. 2 times the producer will be able to access the buffer. In question number 7, this is my view. And in question number 8, in question
your
number
answer
8,
is 3, right?
Yes, sir.
I understood. I'll tell you. I got it. I mean, this is very common question which I have answered many times in all previous terms also. So I already know why you answered 2 and 3 in this case. Okay. And I believe Sandhya is also having same doubt.
Yes, and same interpretation, same comprehension.
Yeah, I understand. It's very obvious to have that interpretation. So let me tell you.
I want to say one more thing, sir.
Yeah.
In question number 9.
Okay.
I used the same concept in question number 9, sir.
Okay, 9 is slightly different. So maybe let's finish 7 and 8 and then move to 9.
Okay, sir.
9 is actually slightly different as compared to 7.
And I got 9 correct, sir. 9 and 10 I got correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I said, right? It's slightly different than these two. So let's close this and then we'll see why 9 is different. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, as you mentioned, the buffer size is 5 and there are already how many elements are there? 3 elements are there, right?
Yes.
So there are two vacancies are there. So what producer can do? Producer can produce 1 element, and or producer can produce 2 elements. So what the question is, how many different situations are possible, right? So first situation is producer produces 1 element. That becomes our first situation. Okay. What is our second situation? Producer produces 2 elements. That's our second situation. And then what is third situation? Producer stays idle. It will not do anything. It's not mandatory all the time for producer to keep producing. It can keep waiting, right? That is the third situation, which I believe you have missed.
Yes, sir.
Right? It's a producer consumer. It's like, okay, I have produced things. I have kept it in a buffer. I have done my job. So I went to a waiting state. I'm waiting maybe consumer to consume it. I don't want to produce anymore, which is absolutely fine. So that's the third scenario which you miss. That's the answer. That's why answer is 3. And the same logic gets applied in question number 8 also. What consumer can do? There are 3 items in the buffer. What consumer can do? Scenario 1, consumer can consume 1. Scenario 2, consumer can consume 2. Scenario 3, consumer can consume 3.
And
I mean the third. And same thing, it goes to idle state. Do nothing.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why that +1 came in both these questions.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And in 9, I don't know what the 9 is. Okay.
9 is clear, sir. 9.
Now 9 is clear, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because
9.
here that waiting business is not that directly applicable.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Sir, 11.4.
Okay. 11.4.
The question number 4, sir. Sir, can you explain one question here? this question number 4?
Yeah, sure.
How will
Okay, I mean, all these are very relative questions. I will explain you one and you apply that same
Yes.
logic to all the questions afterwards. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's consider what is happening. Consider there are two ATM card issued for a single bank account. Okay, and the bank account is that A bank account. Okay, the transactions done. Okay, these are two transactions, 1 and 2. Consider the given table. I mean, this is very obvious. So let's start with this particular execution.
Sir, first of all, can I tell what I was thinking
Yeah,
about this?
sure.
Read A is doing what when I am reading the result? Sir, but in transaction 4, only one read A is there. So,
There is no transaction 4. Okay, this is time T4. There are only two transactions. Transaction 1, which is transaction of money 1, and transaction of money 2. Two transactions, 4 different time slots.
okay, sir. In T4, I read A is there,
Correct.
but in transaction 2, there is the space is empty.
Correct.
So at T4, I can only read the result of this transaction money 1, but I can't read the result of transaction money 2. Am I correct or wrong, sir?
You are correct, but that's not actually what you are supposed to do here. Whatever you are saying is correct, but that's not what we are asking in this question.
Okay, sir.
See, what we are asking is, assume that the initial total amount of for A, I mean the current bank balance or the account balance is 1,000 rupees, right?
Okay, sir.
Then for that same account, there are two ATM cards and one is getting access from one location, second is getting access from second location. That's why for that same account A, two different transactions are initiated, right?
Yes.
So what happened at T1? This transaction 1 is trying to read value of A, and that very same time transaction 2 is also trying to read value of A, right? So this transaction, I mean, let's call it transaction 1 and transaction 2, right? Okay, so this first transaction got 1,000 as a value because that's the current value.
Yes, sir.
Then second transaction, I mean, this second transaction also read that value A, it also got 1,000, which is correct.
Yes, sir.
Now we are at T2, transaction 1 is doing nothing. Whereas transaction 2 did what? It added 300 into it for some reason. Maybe got some interest, maybe somebody transferred it for some reason. 300 got added into that particular account. Okay. We deposited 300 rupees into that account. So now what is the value of A?
A is 1,000 and now it's
it became 1,300.
Yes, sir, but it will not show right now.
Yeah, correct. But I'm just saying, temporary at some place it became 1,300. It's not yet reflected in the account, but it's somewhere in intermediate set it is 1,300, right? It is not yet saved in the database. Now at T3 again the transaction is not doing anything. Okay, sir. But transaction 2 is writing that value to the server, to the database, whatever you call it. Okay. Now A became 1,300. Yes, sir. Agree? Yes, sir. Okay. And then at T4, I mean at time T4, transaction 1 is again reading the value of A. Yes. So what this read operation will give you as output? 1,300, sir. 1,300. Yes, sir. Correct. Yes, so, sir. For transaction 2 also, what is the recently updated value of A? Recently updated is 1,300. Yeah. For transaction T1, what is the most recent value of A? 1,300. That's why the answer is, where is it? Sir, but in transaction 2, there is no read A. So how will I read the value in transaction 2? It is the same bank account. That's why it is the value is updated to. I'm not able to understand this. Where are you saying? Sir, in transaction of money 2, at T4, there is a blank space. Correct. So how the value is becoming 1,300 there? I'm not. Okay, hold on. That's not how. I mean, it's not about. Are you getting me, sir? What I'm trying to say? I understood. See, we read the value. Okay. We updated the value and we wrote it back. Yes, sir. Correct? Yes, sir. So that is what we are asking. We are not asking anything beyond that. It's not about reading or writing. It's about, see, in transaction 2, we read some value, we updated that value, we wrote it back. Why do we have to read it again? Is it necessary to read that value again?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, right? Are you understanding my point over here?
No, sir.
Okay.
I can.
See, what happens? You went to your ATM. Okay, forget about this. Consider general thing. You went to some bank ATM and you
Yes.
want to let's say withdraw some amount. Okay,
sir.
and you then you entered. Okay, I want to withdraw, let's say 500 rupees, right? Well,
Yes.
what the that ATM machine will do, or whatever the software or the whatever the system is in place, what it will do? It will check what is your current balance.
Yes, sir.
It will check whether it is less than the prescribed amount or not, whether it's greater than the minimum balance or not. Whatever the check is required, it will do that.
Yes, sir.
Right? Then it
Yeah.
will check whatever amount you are withdrawing, is it lesser than the balance or not. I mean, if your account do not have 500, it cannot give 500. But
Yes.
obvious, right?
Yes.
I mean, after all those checks happen, what it will do? It will do A is equal to whatever the transaction. I mean, it will be the value which came from your server. Let's say you have 5,000 rupees in your account. That must be stored in some variable, right?
Okay, sir.
So it will do that variable is equal to that variable minus 500, because you are trying to do a 500 withdrawal of 500.
Yes, sir.
And it will give you 500 rupees to you. And the updated value, which is 4,500, will be returned back into your server or into your database, correct?
Yes, sir. Will be written back in
That is this write operation. Correct? You read it, you
Yes,
updated the value. I mean, here it is plus, but in case of that, you are withdrawing. So it will be minus 500, right?
So, sir,
And then
it
you
is-
wrote that value back. That's it. The transaction is
Yes.
over there. Why do I have to read it again? That's my point.
Okay, sir. I got it.
Sridhar?
Yes, sir. I got
Okay.
it.
Okay. So
I have one more question, sir.
no. Hold on. The explanation is not over. The answer is not. This is an incorrect answer. Transactions will not execute. That's the correct answer.
Yes, please explain.
Yeah. So this is right now whatever we were discussing, right? It is the it will happen in the standard scenario. But in this case, what happens is at T1 we are trying to read same accounts balance at the very same time. Can you see that at T1 read A and read A, for two different transactions we are trying to read it.
And the value for both the transaction will be same 1,000.
No,
At
that is when there will be a problem, because as I mean, if you have watched this particular lecture, right, about concurrency,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. I have watched it.
Yeah. So what is the concurrency means? I mean, what the professor have explained that lecture. A is a common resource between transaction A, transaction 1 and transaction 2. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So at any given point of time, only one of them will get access to it.
Yes, sir. Either we can write or we can read.
We cannot do these together, because otherwise it might lead to inconsistent state. Because if this read also happen and if this read also happens together, then we may not end up getting
Sir, but
correct
we can
answer at the
read,
end.
sir. We are not writing. We are reading only.
No, even in case of reading, there is a problem.
Okay, sir. We can't read simultaneously or write simultaneously. At T3, suppose
Either of the thing, because I will tell you, consider this. Okay, in T2, T3, it's blank. Okay.
okay, sir.
Consider it like this. At T2, I am doing A is equal to A plus 500.
In transaction 1.
In transaction 1, for T2, replace this particular hyphen, this blank, with A is equal to A minus 500.
Okay.
Okay.
And
at
the same
T3,
time-
and at T3, I will do write A.
Okay, sir.
At T3, I do write A over here. Okay.
Okay.
T4 remove T4. T4 is not there. So simply at T1 on both side I read. For T2 on one side I deducted 500. On other side I added 300. And for T3, I did write A, right?
Sir, at T2,
Now
you deducted 500 one side and added 300 other side.
Yes.
Will it execute?
That is my point. That's my point. If we allow this to execute, there will be a problem.
Okay.
Or okay, let me take it up outside.
It's so confusing, sir.
Yeah, I totally understand. Let me share this. Just give me a couple of seconds, okay? Let me write some examples.
Sir, I was going to leave this question because I was not able to understand.
No, don't leave anything. It's not that difficult. It just once you get the understanding of what you're supposed to do, then it's not tough. Can you say this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have this original value of A is 1000. Your transaction 1, transaction 2, and you have, let's say, T1, T2, T3. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I am doing this read operation of A over here. Same operation I am doing here. Okay. And over here, as I was saying, A is equal to A minus 500. And over here, I am doing A is equal to A plus 300. Now, as earlier you were saying that you cannot do write operation parallelly, but read operation parallelly is okay. So let's apply that logic here. And then I will tell you even read operation parallelly also a bad idea. Now, according to, is it valid? I'm not writing at this parallelly. I'm writing this at T3 and writing this at T4.
Yes, sir. But T1 is not valid.
T1 is not valid. Even though read operations are parallelly happening, still it's not valid. Because now you consider this. What happens? You read this over here. It is 1000.
Yes, sir.
You read it as what now? A minus 500.
Yes, sir.
So it became 500.
Okay, sir.
And then you write it back. So over here, the final answer is 500.
Yes, sir.
For T1. What happens to T2? When you read it as what? 1000. Then you did plus 300.
13,000.
And then you wrote it back. So now 1300. Now tell me.
Yes, sir.
In a common sense, if you are doing it with respect to same bank account, neither of these values are correct, right?
Yes.
Ideally, what happened? You do either minus 500, then you do plus 300, or you do the first 300, then minus 500. So ultimately, actually, the final answer should be 800, right?
Sir, after T4, there should be one more transaction read. Unless we read, how will we be able to know that our account has been updated?
So that is fine. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. Don't worry too much about the final read. We're just asking what is the value of A. Without reading, we can get. I mean, we are asking what will the value of variable, right? I mean, in pseudocode, we never write read operation, right?
Okay, sir.
So don't worry about that too much. If you still want, maybe we can read it. I mean, we can always read like this. That's not a problem. Okay, if you feel that adds more comfort, we can do this also. But still, this 500 and 1300 will be the values, right? For transaction 1 and 2, and both are incorrect.
Okay.
Actual value should be what?
Yes, sir.
800. That is why this is the place where we made a mistake. We allowed two different transactions to read the value of A at the same time. That's where we made a mistake, and that's why it went down like this. And that is the reason. Now going back to that original question, this is the answer. Because T1 will, I mean, at T1, we are trying to read, the both transactions are trying to read or that variable A, which is not allowed. So it will not execute either of those transactions. They won't be able to execute because they are not concurrently, they are not getting processed concurrently.
I have doubt here.
Yeah.
But here in the question, it's mentioned that there are 2 ATM cards.
Correct.
So there are 2 different transactions. Now, why are you
Correct.
considering together?
No, transactions are 2 different, but it is happening on same bank account, right? ATM
But
card is a different
ATM,
thing, but
yeah, we will insert ATM card not together, right? We will insert one. Later on, we will insert another card.
no.
Maybe
I
there
again think of it this
would
way.
be two.
See, guys, don't make it chaotic. Sandhya, what is happening here is we are saying there are 2 different people, 2 different cards, 2 different ATM machines, but the bank account, the bank account is still same.
But here in the question, nothing mentioned like that.
You don't have to, because we are saying everything is happening at T1. At time T1, 2 read operations are happening. That's enough. This is whatever I am saying is just to elaborate more. That information is not required. At time T1, 2 parallel read operations not allowed. That's it. You don't have to know anything more than that.
Omkar, instead of that, we can do the explanation of you are using ATM to withdraw money from your account, while on net banking you are doing something else to buy something from Amazon.com. So both of us are doing the same thing from the same account.
Correct. It is same thing. See, this A is getting shared among 2 transactions. That part is important.
But in reality, what happens in this case, and really I don't know if normally we will have joint accounts.
Correct.
Outside, in case we both inserted at a time in the ATM card, what happens?
Okay, so what happens is there is a what you call it, some mechanism in place. The mechanism is referred as that concurrency thing, whatever we are discussing about. It makes sure that at any given point of time, the access of this A will be given to only one transaction. Okay. I don't know how much in detail I should go. This is something which is very related to the transaction concept of operating system or database management system. Operating system subject is not there.
Will it operate as first come, first serve like that?
Usually it operates like that, but if there is some scheduling which is based on priorities, then it might go other way around. But in this case, right, there is no concept of first come, first
based on
serve.
the conditions.
See, listen. The point is there is no concept of first come, first serve. Both are happening at the same time. There is nobody is coming first. Both are coming at the same time. That's the problem actually. If somebody comes first, then of course you can allow that person to go ahead and do the transaction and stop the second person. But at this point, both read operations are happening at T1 at the very same time. Even at that very fraction of second, it is same. That is when the problem is.
I understood. Just I am asking a general question. In outside, in general, if we go out and will insert 2 ATM cards of same account, what happens in reality? That's what I'm asking.
In that case, in reality, if first transaction is still going on and you started second transaction will not happen. The one transaction which started, you have to finish that, then only the second transaction will happen. You cannot do, you won't be able to do that.
Okay, I never noticed such.
I mean, see, usually people don't do that, right? But that's how there is some mechanism in place which takes care of these kind of scenarios. I mean, not just ATM. Somebody was also mentioning this example, right? One person, I mean, you went to ATM and withdrawing, and maybe one of your friend who has access to your account is doing some online transaction on maybe Amazon or some website, right? Doing some e-commerce transaction. Even in that case, your bank, you will get error message. Many times most of the times you get error message of some different reasons, but that time you will get some error message. Maybe bank server is busy, account is not reachable, or something of that sort will happen. Because that account is locked for some amount of time for that specific transaction.
The modern example can be Netflix.
Okay, what
Netflix.
happens with mostly these OTT platforms, right? Netflix, I mean, it is allowed as you mentioned, right?
true.
You can
Yes.
access it only through one login ID, right? I mean, through one device.
Whatever
Unless and
defined.
until you log out from there, you cannot log in at some other place, right?
Yes.
Same thing.
Understood.
That's same transaction business. Okay, so originally as we started with Sridhar. So Sridhar, with this logic, will you be able to solve all the remaining questions?
Yes, sir.
Just give it a shot right now. Just maybe it's very in line with the previous one. In this case, what happens? Now read are not parallel. This read at T1, this read at T2.
It's 1300 and 1300, sir.
As we discussed earlier.
Yes, sir.
Now please solve remaining ones with that logic what we discussed. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Anything else? Sridhar, that was the only question, right?
Sir, can I ask more question?
Yeah, sure. I don't see anybody have raised their hands. So yeah, please go on.
Sir, I want you to explain the concept of producer consumer model when we are adding marks and computing average simultaneously, concurrently, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine, sure.
Sir, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just give me a second. Okay, I'll explain that. Yeah.
Okay,
just hold
okay,
on,
sir.
Hold on. Okay, yeah. So Sridhar, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah. So as you ask about producer consumer, and then what happens with respect to this average business with respect to marks, right?
Yes, sir. When we are adding marks and computing average simultaneously.
You are adding marks and computing average simultaneously, right?
Yes, sir. Concurrently.
Concurrently and simultaneously, or concurrently and parallel are the different things. Okay. Use these words properly. Okay. Parallelly is a different thing, and concurrently is a different thing. Okay.
And simultaneously is different.
Simultaneously is it's not actually a more accurate term. It's the generic one where we are saying the transactions are happening simultaneously. Okay. You either execute them parallelly or you do them concurrently. So it's a term where we are saying, okay, they are happening. The both are there in somewhere in the picture, but they are happening. They might be parallelly or they might be concurrently. That's the where the simultaneously comes into picture.
Sir, so can we say that in that question when the transaction was not executing, can we say that at T1 the transaction is concurrent?
Oh no, see at T1 they are parallel because they both are doing at this very same time, so they became parallel, and that's where there is a problem because transaction should not be parallel, transaction should be concurrent.
Concurrent means one after another.
Not necessarily one after another. Now consider this second example where now we know the answer is 1300, right?
Yes.
Here, it's not like one finished and then second started. That's not the case here. They both are simultaneously getting executed, but now they are concurrent because T1 only at T1 only one of them is executing. At T2 only one of them is executing. At T3 again one of them is executing. At any given point of time, both are not happening at that particular time interval. That's why I said it's not parallel. It is concurrent. Concurrent means what? Your transaction started. It is not yet finished. But at that same time, the second one also started and it is also not finished. So they are happening together. They are happening simultaneously, but they are not parallel. This is parallel.
One at a time. I think concurrency is one at a time, right?
One at a time for that particular time interval. But it's not like you finish one and then you started second. Then that's simultaneous. Then it's not even simultaneous, right? You went to a bank and you withdraw some money today, and you went again tomorrow and withdraw some money. Those two transactions have nothing to do with each other. because they did not happen simultaneously. The concurrency or parallel comes into picture only when they are happening simultaneously. Are you understanding? I mean, I know there are three terms. They might be slightly tricky or maybe might
Yes,
sound
sir.
same, might
Sir,
sound
it is all
like synonymous.
getting mixed up. Sir, it is all getting mixed up.
Okay, consider this. Consider
For
this.
me, concurrency, parallel is clear, but this simultaneously is
Yeah, it is
how to correlate is not clear.
Okay, fine. Then forget about simultaneously. As I said, simultaneously is not a technical term, but usually in English sentences, we naturally use simultaneously, right?
Yes.
Nobody in general speaking sense use word concurrently and all that, right? Nobody use that. So it's a more technical term. Simultaneously is more like it's a general English term. That's why I'm just trying to explain that way. If you otherwise you can skip that. If you know the difference between concurrent and parallel, that's more than enough. Okay.
Sir, can you explain the difference between parallel and concurrent, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That I will.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't remember the best example. There is one activity question where that red and blue color boxes are there. If anyone remembers.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Which activity question? Yeah, this one. This one.
Yes, sir.
So consider this, Sridhar. X is one. I don't know what the term they have used. It's account, a task. Okay, X is a task. So X is a task and Y is another task. Okay. And if you see over here, you executed some portion of red, then you executed some portion of blue. Then again red, then blue. Red, blue, red, blue. You kept executing.
Figure 2 is concurrent, sir, and figure 3 is parallel.
Yes, correct. Now you understood the concept.
Yes, sir.
That is the difference between this is concurrent, parallel. Okay. Now, if you still want me, then I will tell you what the simultaneous concept was. X and Y are not yet finished, right? You started Y here. Is it Y finished at this point?
No, sir. No, sir.
But you started X.
Yes, sir.
Then you again you did Y, then you X, XY, XY, YX is happening one after the other. That means it is simultaneously they are executing. Without finishing first, you started the second one.
Okay.
So this is simultaneously, and this is also simultaneously. This is both are simultaneous executions. But simultaneous execution has two different categories. Either simultaneous execution can be concurrent, or simultaneous execution can be parallel. That's my point.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So anybody else have any doubt on this concurrent and parallel business?
Sir, can we say that in the figure second, there is one person who is executing the task red and blue one, and in the figure 3, there is two person who is executing these things, because parallel means there's definitely there would be some two processor or the person who is running these tasks.
Correct. It depends on how the application. Either, I mean, as you said, right? It can be one person who is doing these tasks, and because of that, the person is doing
switching between tasks is very fast. We cannot recognize. We look. It's illusion that something is happening parallel or
correct.
Kind of.
Correct. See, I mean, whatever you are saying is right. I won't deny that, but you are going into too much depth of computer organization. I believe you have some computer science background, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you are saying that. But we are not expecting you to know to that level, to that depth. All that, multi-core and how it's happening and all that multiple how processors are working, or there is an illusion that it is happening parallelly, whereas actually it is sequentially and all that stuff. It is more like comes from computer organization or operating system concept. We don't want to go to that depth. Knowing this difference of parallel and concurrent is sufficient for this course. Let's not go beyond what is required. Otherwise, it will be too complicated, because when we do that, right, the hardware also comes into picture, right? Who is saying RAM, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, in that case, hardware is the most critical aspect there. And in computational thinking, we are not focusing anything related to hardware.
Yes, yes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so let's not go to that level of detail. Okay, yeah, Akash, you were
Sir,
saying.
I have a problem 8.3 activity. Question number 3.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, can you just repeat it?
8.3. Question number 3.
Okay. Okay, what is the doubt in this question?
Sir, what I think that n should be the answer, but
Okay. And what is the correct given answer?
it's n into n minus 1 by 2.
Minus 1 by 2, right? Yeah,
Yes.
correct. Can you first explain what you understood from then this question and why you think n is the answer? Then I will tell you where you are making mistake.
Sir, stations will be the, I think, the dictionary, and the keys of the stations dictionary will be the, we just going to count the number of keys in that dictionary, and that will be the length.
Okay, so keys of stations will give you all the station names, right?
Yes, sir.
And what length will give you? The
It's,
count of those keys.
yes, sir.
So that is your n.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Next.
And what will be the value of A after the execution of the following pseudocodes? If A is 0 for each Y in keys SGN index, A is equals to A plus station index Y. Y is the list, I think.
What is station index? What this is a dictionary, right?
Yes, sir.
Here station index is the dictionary which is described in the procedure direct route. So this is there in this particular lecture 8.3. Do you remember what this dictionary is?
1 second.
I think the explanation
No.
is also there. Feedback is
Sir,
there.
you already explained earlier this.
Yeah, I
N
remember.
minus 1.
That
N minus
dictionary,
1.
No, the answer is n into n minus 1 by 2. The answer is this. Let's see where he is making it.
yeah, you gave like that that multiple bonds between that nodes will not be considered. So that's why we divide that by 2.
Yeah, so yeah, we will come to the actual answer. Let's see where he is making a mistake first. So, I mean, I'm usually I don't spend this much time on single question, but right now I don't see any hand raises that there is no questions to discuss. So why not spend some more time on this? That's the reason I'm spending more time on each question.
Actually, sir,
If you have any doubts, please raise your hands. Otherwise, you may not get a chance to ask your doubts. So please raise your hands. Then only I will know that you have a doubt. Yes.
actually,
Yeah.
sir,
Yes.
I'm facing the
direct proof.
lots of. Okay, please continue with the.
Yeah,
Then I'll.
Yes, Akash.
The direct routes is the dictionary in which
direct routes is a procedure. Station
Yes,
index is the dictionary.
Sir, direct route is the procedure in which we just able to find the trains which starts from A and ends to B.
Correct. And so this station index tells you it has all those stations where some train is either starting or ending, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it may not be all stations available with us. I mean, it might be or it may not be, right?
Yes, sir.
Only we are talking about those stations from where some train starts or some train stops, ends. Correct.
Yes.
Yes. Now we are taking all those keys for each Y, right? I mean, the Y will have that each key at any given point. And then what we are doing? A is equal to A plus that station index of Y. So what station index of Y will give you? What this station index of Y will give you?
So Y is the list.
Y is not a list. Y is the key, right? Station index of Y will give you what?
A value means
Value,
index value
which
of
is what that value will represent.
it's a pair value.
It will tell you, it will give you a value that how many direct routes are there. I mean, let's say the Y is, let's say first some station, let's say station, let's say Chennai. So how many direct trains are there from Chennai or to Chennai? That's what we are asking.
Okay.
See, it's only about those stations which are, as you said, starting or ending points, right? So they all are connected to each other, right? That's how our data set is designed. And because of that, see, consider it as a complete graph. I believe you understand what the complete graph is.
Yes, sir.
Where every node is connected to every other node via direct edge.
Yes, sir.
That is what this particular, and then you count number of edges in it. That is what this is. We are counting number of edges in a complete graph. And that complete graph is constructed using this n. That n came from length of piece of station. That is why n is equal to n minus 1 by 2. Consider, maybe take small example for n. Let's say take 4 nodes. Okay. Do you have any pen and paper in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take 4 nodes A, B, C, D.
Yes, sir.
Now connect each node with each other.
So 4C2.
What 4C3? Okay. Okay, but just tell me how many edges are there?
4, so 6.
6. Now put that 4 into this formula. What happens?
Same will be the answer.
Now you understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is what we are doing here.
Okay.
It is happening because of that part which you mentioned. I mean, that till that point you understood that this is a dictionary of all the stations of starting and ending points.
Means
right?
all I and J are having the nodes between them.
Correct. Exactly. Exactly. That is why that's what the direct routes is, right? We are all these are direct routes. What you did using pen and paper, right? You connect every node with every node. That is what the direct route is, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's what is happening. Understood? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sapna, you were saying something earlier.
Yes, actually, I want little bit motivation because from couple of weeks, I was like, I'm not giving that much of time which I have to, because in parallel, so my college exam was there because end terms was there. So due to that, I'm not giving that much of time. So right now, I was like, if in the second week, after that week, in the next week, I'm having the end term exam, and how can I do that in that exam?
Okay.
So what to do?
Okay, the simple thing is, I mean, for our course over here, the end term is on 3rd April, right?
Yeah.
Before that, your exams will over. They will finish with that, right?
Right now, I'm giving that exams.
Yeah, correct. But before 3rd April, it will finish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you did quiz 2.
Yes, sir.
Syllabus for quiz 2 was till week 8.
Yes, sir.
So whatever is beyond week 8, right? Most of the courses, I mean, I don't know about other courses, so I would not comment on other courses. About CT. So
I
there
only
is
have English and CT, but still
okay,
I'm
so
not
English,
giving
I don't think you have to worry too much about English,
Yeah.
I believe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So about CT, you have week 9, 10 and 11. There are only 3 weeks, right?
Yes, sir.
So out of which week 9 is all, it's again based on graphs.
Yeah, recursion, I thought.
Recursion is new, and I as I promised, this Thursday I am gonna take a dedicated session on recursion. Okay.
Yeah, sir.
So apart from recursion, week 9 has nothing new. Everything is remaining is graph, right? Which you already saw in 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So what else you have to study is week 10, 11 and recursion, correct?
Yes, sir.
And trust me, week 10 and 11 are not that tough. Only thing is, it's all new concepts coming in. That is why there is a problem.
Actually, I was like, is I'm able to complete that weeks or not? Because
I will tell
I
you.
got.
I will tell you. You right now focus only on those graded assignments of week 10 and 11. Okay. Can you do that much?
Yeah, I can.
Solve those graded assignments till 23rd. Do not worry about that. And then you can think about those weeks later on after finishing your exam. Right now, only focus on graded assignment of week 10 and 11. Do not worry about end term exam right now. Okay. There is a there is a okay. Yeah, there is a reason behind me saying that. You will come to know that in few more days. Okay.
Yes.
So right now focus only on week 10 and 11 graded assignment and your exams. I mean your other college exams. Don't worry too much about in term for computational thinking. Okay. You will know why I'm saying this on 24th. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
That's a mystery. Hello, sir.
Sorry?
Please tell.
Week 12.
Guys, listen. 4 people talking together. I won't be able to hear even one of you. Please raise your hand, and I will just say your name. It will be better.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Sapna. So, okay. Some person named A, capital A. I don't know what your name is.
Hello, sir. Amruta here. Actually,
There are 2 Amrutas.
Yes, I think there are 2 Amritas.
Okay, fine. Yeah, this Amrita, go on.
Okay, sir, please, can you please tell week-wise weightage for the end-term exam?
Okay, we usually do not have that concept of week-wise weightage as such. Okay, we just say the syllabus is based on week 1 to 8, 1 to 10, 1 to 12, whatever. So there is nothing specific weightage as such. So that's why we are not announced anything on that regard. But I mean, you may not even see that happening in other courses also.
No, they have for stat they have said that 50% from 1 to 8 and 9 to 12, 50%. They have.
Okay, it's that rough, right? It's just that it's very rough, like 50-50. No. Okay, that kind of weightage, if you want, we can announce that. But beyond that, every specific week-wise weightage, even we won't be able to calculate.
No, I want only 9 to 12 and 1 to 8.
Yeah, that much we will announce. That much we will announce. Okay.
Sir,
Like,
what is it?
But
I'll have to see.
In CT, everything is mixed up. So
yeah, exactly.
As you also already said that we can't specify that how much weightage from particular week.
Yeah, right. So Sapna, what she is saying is, I mean, earlier also I answered this same question.
But 9 to 12 concepts are very different from 1 to 8. So
I know only 10 and 11 are different. 12, you will not even have new concept. 12 is only summary. Nothing new is coming in week 12. Okay. That much I will tell you. So don't worry about week 12. Week 12 is summary of all previous weeks.
Okay.
Okay. So 10 and 11 are slightly different. I agree. But till 9, it is all connected, right?
Yeah.
So that's why usually we have restrict ourselves. Let me finish. So Pawan, just hold on. So that is why we cannot specifically say that, okay, week-wise distribution is not possible. Otherwise, a general one, as you said, right, 50-50 as some stats team or somebody else has given, something on those lines we will announce. Okay. And as I said, let's first focus on week 10 and 11 graded assignments. Deadline is 23. For both, we will announce about all this on 24th. 24th, first thing in the morning, you will get announcement about this. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And trust me, you will be happy about that announcement. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Pawan, you are saying something.
Is there any surprise for us?
April 3rd, second term will start in May only, no? So
Next term will start in May, by maybe by April end, depending on when is the Friday. But yeah. It will mostly start on 29th of April, mostly.
Yes, the 29th April is Friday.
29th April is Friday, right? So mostly, I mean, yeah, usually we start with Friday, right? Every time the new week gets released on Friday. So Yeah, week 1 of whatever courses you opt for next term will start on 29. Anyway, you will get, there will be orientations. We will announce that. Right now, focus only, think about till 3rd April. Don't run ahead of time. Okay, focus on the current registered courses. Yeah, earlier, yeah, some more hands are raised. Bhavna.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible. Go on.
So, in the week 10 practice assignment, there is in first question, there is some values are given. I'm not understand what is the meaning of why you given the private procedure, public procedure. It confused me.
This one, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this one I have already explained in that previous open session. Can you, I mean,
Yes.
we spent at least 30 to 40 minutes discussing this very pseudocode. And I don't want to repeat that. It's there on YouTube. Can you watch that particular session which happened on last Thursday on 17th?
No, sir.
Okay, somebody can you post the YouTube link here in the chat?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, Bhavna, so the Sapna is posting that YouTube link here. Maybe can you take it from there? Watch that session. I have explained all this in very depth in that particular session.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Okay, Divya. Yeah, next is Divya. One.
Yes, sir. One thing is that for quiz 2, we haven't received our own answer sheets.
You haven't received your answer sheets.
Yes.
Okay. That's usually when you get it. I mean, that's all operational business. So I'm not even aware that when you get those and all that. I'm not directly
because
involved
we've
in
got the result now today.
Okay.
But we haven't received the answer sheet, so I'm not able to find out what mistakes I've made, and that's really important.
Yeah, I understood. Can you just write this to support mail ID, the other common ID? You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they will be in a better position to answer this.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
And sir, you were saying something about on 24th we'll find out about not worrying about NTERM. Does that mean NTERM is not happening for CT?
No, NTERM is happening. There is no doubt about it. NTERM is happening. I'm talking about these weightages you wanted, right? So whatever weightage we'll announce will make you happy. That's what I'm just saying.
Okay.
She's talking about impossible things.
As I said, it will be happy news, but it's not a miracle. No miracle is happening on 24th. Okay, exam is happening on 3rd.
Well, I was hoping for a miracle at the moment.
No, it's not a miracle. It's just slightly, maybe just a happier news. That's all, nothing else.
For sure, it is a surprise, but it is not that tough.
No, it's not. It won't be that. Nothing like that.
Sir, quiz one also you said it will be easy, but we felt it's very hard. Quiz one.
I said it will be easier than mock.
It was
I
easier than
remember
mock.
my exact words. Quiz one, I said it will be easier than mock, and it was easy, I believe.
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Mock was easy.
No, sir. In the mock I scored full, but not in the.
Yeah, even I score, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir,
I mean,
it is easier than mock.
listen. I mean, there is no point in arguing on that. Everyone have their own perspective of it. It's all the depends on individuals.
But please don't make it lengthy. That is the only request. Don't make it lengthy.
See, now nothing is going to change. Question paper is, as I said, it was ready even before you gave your quiz 2. It's already configured.
Yes, sir. On that session, you already said that you are making that quiz 2 paper.
Yeah. It was ready at that point of time. So,
sir said completed.
Sorry.
I have a question.
Yeah. So let's not deviate from computational thinking. Divya, do you have any question on?
Yes, I wanted to request you because I think we don't have a solve with us for the last graded assignment.
Yeah.
And I suppose we don't even have another session after this.
Correct.
So it's a request, if possible, after you've addressed everyone's queries, if you could summarize a little on week 11, because I'm finding it tough. Not only in terms of understanding, but also in completing it, because there was very little time from when we submitted we have to submit both assignments together. So doing all of it together is becoming really hectic. So if it's possible,
my side too also. Please, sir.
If it's possible, sir.
Okay, summarizing might be a bit tough.
Maybe the tough concepts, just a few of the tough concepts with Sudoku.
Giving overview of that, it might be helpful for us.
If you can, because last time you did the practice assignment question and it clarified a lot. Although I had seen all the videos at that for that particular week, for this one have not been able to complete it. But if you could do just one practice assignment question, it clears all my doubts, and I'm sure that applies to many of us.
Yeah, sure. That we can do. We can definitely do that.
Thank you,
One practice assignment question or something, we can do couple of practice assignment questions. That's not a problem. But if you are asking me to summarize the entire week, then it's a bit tough for these, specifically for these weeks. Okay, if it's some previous week where all concepts are related, then it might be. But otherwise, for these 2 weeks, it's really tough, because in every lecture you will see new concept, right? They are not interlinked. Like week 7 and 8, it's all graph. It's easy to summarize. But for 10 and 11, that doesn't apply. So, but yeah, we'll do that. Let me run through the hands raises and then come back to that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, thanks. Okay, so Sridhar, you already asked a couple of doubts, so just wait. I will come back to you at the end.
Okay,
Shiva, yeah, go on. Shiva Bhaskaran. Are you there? Shiva Bhaskaran. Okay, next person, Amruta.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question regarding, like, as we are planning and looking at the schedule and the calendar, 28th and 29th are 2 back-to-back sessions which CT team has planned for revision. So is there any scope for any on-demand session before that, or is it going to be the only sessions we are having?
28th and 29th, right?
Yes, there are 2 sessions, 7 to 9.
On this Thursday, I will be taking one session on recursion, as I said.
Yes.
And then, after that, immediately 28th and 29th. And then there is one more on 31st.
31st.
31st is also there.
Course concluding CT, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's another just session. I mean, that will be the last session. That's why we just called it a course
The only
concluding.
reason why I asked is because when you have a 2-hour session for almost 6 weeks or something, the entire doubts cannot be really covered up in the 2 hours or 3 hours. If there is any on-demand session, which could be a prelude to that, that would really lessen our burden for the last minute.
Okay, so the plan is those 2 sessions which are happening on 28th and 29th, right? They are scheduled for 2 hours, but if they go beyond that, we never stop that. Okay, so they might go beyond that 3 hours, 4 hours. We will let that happen. Okay, so unless and until we answer all the doubts from week 1 to 6 and then 7 to onwards in those respective sessions, we will not close those sessions. Okay, and even beyond that, if we fail, okay, still many questions are there, then we might schedule extra sessions. We don't mind doing that, but it depends on what happens actually in those sessions. I can't give you guarantee. I mean, right, like what is happening in this session, there are very less number of questions. If same thing happens over there, then we may not schedule extra session. But if we get overwhelming number of questions, then we might schedule extra.
I think I'm sure you'll get an overwhelming question at the end.
Then we will schedule.
People start preparing.
Yeah, then we will have extra session. That will do. As I said earlier in previous one of the meetings, right? This weekend and last weekend were not possible because some exams are happening. That's why we are not able to do any extra sessions on weekends.
Yeah, and only
one of the instructors are
planning on-demand session. If that is also known in advance, we can really plan for that.
I understand, but there is no days left, right? Looking at the calendar, there is no possibility to schedule that before that.
Okay.
That's the point.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Okay, Shiva, are you there? Earlier I called your name. Are you there? If so, can you ask your doubt? Okay, fine. So Sridhar?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, producer consumer model, sir. That concept, sir, I want you to explain.
Yeah, correct. I mean, we started from there and it deviated a lot. Okay. So the point is, in producer consumer model, you understood this concept, right? There is some common buffer. Buffer as in some place where you can store data, right? That's it. That's what buffer is. Buffer is nothing fancy stuff. Some location, some place where you can store data. Okay. And only thing is that particular location can be read or you can write there by multiple people. I mean, it's some shared entity. There is a technical term for it, but I don't want to go into that thing. It's some shared entity which all producers and all consumers are accessing at very same time. Understood? That's buffer. Correct? And the job of producer is to, yeah, yes, you have a doubt or?
Sir, can you explain it with a pseudocode, sir?
Okay. Yes, anyway, we are going to do some week. It's there in week 11, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Formalized notations and summary of concurrency.
Excuse me, sir.
Do you see any pseudocode where the producer consumer is used?
Yeah. In formalized notations and.
Can you tell me number?
Last one, sir.
Last one only, right?
Yeah. Formula.
Yeah.
Not in activity, sir. In video.
Oh, in video the pseudocode is there.
Yeah.
Okay, so summary of concurrency. I don't think this will help you in that regard because we do not actually have any such pseudocode on producer consumer as such.
In this video, there is, sir.
Okay, can you tell me the timestamp?
I don't remember timestamp, sir. But
it's a 40-minute lecture, man.
Yeah, after 20. How can I parse it? After 20 minutes, you can see, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, this is.
I don't see any pseudocode. I mean, yeah, there are some statements here and there, but it's not a full-fledged pseudocode as such.
Come back slightly, sir.
It's the same slide.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't think there is any standard pseudocode as such for last two. I mean, for this producer consumer.
So what is this, sir? mat.add student new mark and this is the pseudocode, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it may look like a pseudocode, but see what is happening. This is the classroom data set we are talking about. It's actually doesn't have anything to do with producer consumer in direct sense. I think you're getting confused with this. See, this is what now consider the same two objects, right? This is that mathematics teacher and physics teacher and the class average data type. So we are talking to find we are talking about class average. In order to find that class average, we require maths, marks and physics marks and so on.
Sir, let me see the video and I will come back to you.
Yeah, better. I mean,
few minutes.
Otherwise, okay, randomly clicking will not help.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will come back in few seconds. Few minutes, sir. Few minutes.
Yeah, sure. Take your time. Come with the specific timestamp. Yes, Sapna.
So I sent it that week 10 lecture which you had said like.
Okay. So I think.
And I sent that.
Bhavna, right? Bhavna, have you got that YouTube link in chat?
Yes, sir. I downloaded it. And
you downloaded it. Okay, fine. So please watch that lecture. It will clear all your doubts related to week 10.
Sir?
Yes.
I sent it that PDF also. 11.8 lecture.
Okay.
So I saw in that there is nothing, no pseudocode in that.
Yeah, I know pseudocode. I mean, you don't have to send PDF. That PDF is
because I haven't yet
have
gone through the week 11.
Yeah.
So that's why I sent it.
Yeah. So let him come with sometimes. And he might have faced some problems on there. So let him come back with that. Yeah, those slides are already there. They are there with me also, but
only for the week. Only for the 11.8 lecture.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So anybody else have any doubt in meantime? All right, then maybe let's try to solve some questions from week 11 practice assignment. Who was saying that Divya, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so week 11 only, right?
Yes, sir.
Any specific question you want me to focus on where you struggle the most?
No, sir. I told you honestly, I haven't been able to complete all of it. So I have not been able to attempt the practice assignment. So I was hoping if you do one question, maybe things would be clearer.
Will you start from the very first?
Yeah, sure. Let's do the first question. Okay. So what is happening in this question that this customer is one data type. Customer is a data type, as in it's a class, right? As you say, class customer, and it has one private field which is a balance, one public procedure which is get balance and returns balance. We have not given an actual definition of it, just have to assume it's there, right? It returns the balance. And then there is one more procedure. It's again a public procedure. It says set balance. So what this procedure do is it sets the balance. It sets the value to this variable balance. So as you see this particular pseudocode, it's very simple and straightforward. That there is one variable, two procedure. One procedure is going to read this value of variable, and other procedure is going to set the value or going to write the value for that variable. That's all is there in this particular object data type customer, in this particular customer class. Okay. And then we say cust1 as in CUST1, CUST2 are two objects of this particular customer, a customer class, right? Be a customer objects, right? The customer1, customer2 are the objects. Then consider the pseudocode for two bank transactions T1, T2. So this is T1 and this is T2. Two transactions are given. And that given below, that transfer 100 from customer 1 to customer 2. So what we are doing, we are transferring 100 rupees from customer 1 to customer 2, right? That is T1 to T2. So what it is supposed to do, it is supposed to debit 100 rupees from customer 1 and it is supposed to credit 100 rupees to account of customer 2, correct? You deduct 100 from customer 1's account and deposit that 100 into customer 2's account, right? It's simple enough. Just minus 100 on one side and plus 100 on other side, right? That's how this transfer will happen. Now these transactions execute in parallel and the individual steps may be interleaved. Okay, what says? These transactions execute in parallel. Okay, they are happening together. Okay, but we don't know in what order they may go. I mean, L1 is happening first or P1 is happening first or they are happening together. It can be in anything. We don't know. We don't have any information about that. Now let's look at these transactions. Transaction T1. What is happening? Balance cust1 for customer 1 balance. You get that balance. I mean, it's get balance is I think that same read operation what we saw earlier in that previous example. It's a read operation. You got whatever you read, you got that value in this balance cust1 variable. Now you deducted that, as in you did this debit of 100 for that customer 1, saying minus 100, that subtracted value. You're updated this balance cust1 variable, and now you're again cust1 dot set balance is balance cust1. So you read it, you deducted 100, you're writing it back. Exactly opposite of that you will do here. You read that particular value, originally whatever was there, you added 100 and you read back. You wrote back into that customer 2's account. Okay, so first one is happening for customer 1 or transaction 1. Second one, the transaction 2 is for customer 2. Okay, now based on this all setup of whatever we did set up this information, now this answer question, assuming that customer 1 and customer 2 had a balance 1000 and 2000 respectively, right? So customer 1's balance is 1000, customer 2 is 2000 in their account at in their accounts. At what step in the transaction are we like to see amounts not matching the expected balance, which is 900 and 2100 respectively? So what the question is, as per this particular transaction, 100 should be reduced from here and they should be added over here. So expected answer is 900 because we reduced 100, and expected answer is 2100 because we added 1000. Added 100, right? That is what is the expected answer. But as you see, right, at some in between state, these values may not be accurate. At the end, they might be accurate. But under some of these conditions, right, whatever some 5 options are there, out of these 5, for some of them, this may not be the correct one. And we have to identify those options, right? At what step in the transactions are we likely to see amounts not matching the expected? So out of these 5, few will give you the correct answer and few will not give you the correct answer. And that's what we have to find out over here. Okay. So let's go do this for all the given options. T1 is at L2. So T1 is at L2. Okay, it is at L2. It's not yet executed or something. We just said T1 is at L2. And T2 is at P2. T2 is at P2. Right?
Yes.
Are you understanding?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So what will be the value at that point of time?
The value will be the balance that we had set, that is 1000 and 2000 only.
It will be 1000 and 2000.
Yes.
Why?
Because we've not done set balance. The set balance is the one which gives the new balance.
Correct. So that set balance will happen only when you execute L3 or P3, correct? But we have not yet reached there. We are still at L2 and P2.
Yes.
So what happens to this option 1?
It looks correct.
Correct as in? I mean, it gives it's a correct option or it gives a correct answer with respect to 900, 2100.
It's not matching. It's not matching the 900.
It's not matching. So can we select this?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go with this and later on we will see whether whatever our assumptions are right or wrong or where we made a mistake. We'll come to that later. Let's not go. That's why I've intentionally this time not clicked on that check answer button, which I usually do. Let's go with this and then we'll see where, if and where if we have made a mistake. Okay. Now let's see about second. T1 is set to L2. T1 is at L2. T1 is at L2 and T2 has completed P3. So T2 transaction is finished, it's completed, but T1, as you see, T1 is at L2. What happens in this case?
T1 at L2 would have not yet updated the balance. Although we've
T2 is completed. As you said, T2 has completed
P3. That will show, I think, 2100, while T1 will still be showing 1000.
Correct. So is it correct or not?
No.
No. So can we select this or not?
No.
We can't select this?
I mean, if we are to say that both of them are not matching 900 and 2100, then I don't think so.
They are not matching, right? One of, as you
both
said,
have to match. Yeah, both of them have to match 900 and 2100. So one is matching, the other is not matching.
Yeah. So the question is to see amounts not matching, right? It's not matching.
So it's not correct.
Not correct. So can we select this?
No.
That's what we are saying, right? If it's not matching, then we are supposed to select it. No.
No,
At
one
what
is
steps in the
matching.
transaction are we likely to see amounts not matching?
But the one would be matching. Transaction
Okay, fine,
two
fine,
would be
fine,
matching.
Fine. Okay, Divya, as you said, let's not select this. As I said, we'll see. We'll come back to this after clicking that check answer thing. Okay.
Okay.
What about third one? T1 has completed. This first select is okay, right?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's whatever you are thinking. I'm asking you only.
Yeah, I think
what
so.
about T1? T1 has completed L3.
Yeah, I think it should now reflect 900.
And T2 has completed P3.
Yeah, I think because the balance has been set, it's going to be matching. So this answer should not be selected.
Okay. Then fourth one, T1 has completed L3.
This one will match 900, but T2 will not.
T2 is at P1. So this will not match?
No.
No. So should I select this or not?
No.
No. Okay.
What about, again, there is a partial match, right? One value will match, another will not, right?
Yes.
Okay, same thing what the dilemma which was there with
Yes.
option 2. Okay.
Yes.
Then T1 has completed L1 and
It will not-
T2 is at P2.
So both of them will not match. As per me.
Okay, so can we select this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now let's do this. And you got 0 marks. That means the answer was wrong. Okay, let's see what is the correct answer in this case. What is the correct answer? T1 is at L2 and T2 has completed P3.
Partial match, the one which is right.
This one is the correct answer. Now let me remove this. This one is the correct answer and T1 has completed L3 and
fourth
T2 is
option.
at P1.
Fourth option, the one I was not very sure of.
Both
Partial
partial marking ones are actually correct.
match.
Why? I will tell you now. Okay.
Yeah.
Because in both these cases, you have set the balance.
Yes.
What happens in the West? T1 is at L2, but T2 has completed P3.
Yes.
Because of this, what happens is there is an illusion that some extra 100 rupees came into bank, right? Because this is still 1000. For T1, it is still 1000. But for T2, I mean, for customer 1, the balance is still 1000. And for customer 2, the balance is 2100.
Yes.
From where this extra 100 rupees came from? That means there is some inconsistency, right?
So you're saying one should be debited and the other should be credited simultaneously.
see,
One is not debited.
What is this? This is what? This is a transfer of, this is a transaction, right? Where we are supposed to transfer 100 rupees. What do you mean transfer? It should go from, it should get deducted from somewhere, it should get deposited on somewhere, correct?
Yes.
You cannot, it's not generating 100 rupees out of thin air, right?
Yes.
But in this case, the customer 1 thinks, okay, I already have 1000 rupees. And now customer 2 thinks, I have 2100.
So the bank
that means
leaves.
now total is off by 100 rupees, right? Some extra 100 rupees is there, which is actually, it doesn't exist there. It's like a mirage of 100 rupees out there, right?
Yeah, there's an inconsistency.
Inconsistency. Same thing happens with the second option. T1 has completed L3 and T2 is at P1. Now what happens? You have 900 on one side. On other side, you have 2000. So now 100 rupees got lost somewhere in between.
I've understood the point, but
Yeah.
then it's the interpretation of the language which is difficult, because clearly, even in the other steps, it was not reflecting 900 and 2100. But yes, I understand the gap part of it. That means this is not.
I mean, I understand where you make. I mean, there is a chance of interpretation mistake, but okay, that's something we should work on. But for time being, you understood the logic, right?
Yeah, this is not valid output, that one is showing 1000 and the other is showing 2100.
Correct.
That's understood.
The consistency is very important.
Okay.
Okay, as you may see this in even day-to-day time, right? And you're trying to do some transaction. As you might have heard this, or you definitely will hear this many times in upcoming courses. Either transaction should happen completely or not at all. Here, this transaction T1 and T2, we are seeing them differently, but internally it is a simple transfer. It's a single transaction of transferring 100 rupees. We have broken that into T1, T2, but in general, you are paying, maybe you go to, I mean, this is very common thing which happens many times. You use the UPI scanner and that QR code and try to pay it to some shopkeeper, right? Many times the transaction fails.
Yes.
So in that case, what is the ideal case? Either the shopkeeper should get money, or it should get refunded back to you.
Yes.
But it should not be in between state where it got deducted from your side and shopkeeper did not get it. In that case, I mean, usually that happens for some period of time. That might be the case. Then either you get a refund or it gets deposited into shopkeeper's account, right? So that consistency is there for some short period of time, which is actually not acceptable.
So you differentiated between transactions being executed in parallel and concurrently. If these are taking place parallelly, then why would one's line 2 be executed while the others only say line 1 or something like that? I mean, why would they not be
parallel, right? It is parallel. I never said L1 and P1 will happen at the same time. Nobody said. That's what this is, right? In parallel, and the individual steps may be interleaved.
What does interleaved mean?
Interleaved means it's not like what we saw earlier, that at time T1, L1 and P1 are happening. You should not read it like that. There might be some waiting period or some gap in between. Okay, like I believe you were there, right, when we were discussing that some other question which I think Sridhar or someone pointed
Red
out.
and blue. Yeah, red and blue.
No, not red and blue. The T1, T2 thing.
Yes. Yes. The read A.
Correct. So over there, it is specifically mentioned that at T1, both reads are happening. Over here, that information is not there. We don't know whether L1 and P1 are happening at T1 or at T1 L1 happen and T2 P1 happen. We don't know that. That information is not there.
Parallelly does not mean
this
that.
is parallel. What?
Yeah, parallelly does not mean that their L1 and P1 are being executed at the same point in time. It's not a must.
No. When we say this parallel, this means transaction T1 and T2 are happening parallel. Interleaved, whatever steps are there, they might be up and down.
Yes, this is clear.
Yeah. Okay, so Sridhar came back with his timestamp. So let me go up there and answer him. Then maybe we'll come back. We still have 10 more minutes.
Okay.
So if time permits, we can solve one more question for practice assignment. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Yes.
And one more thing. I mean, before going there, Divya, the solution document is available. So maybe if you're still stuck with this, that will definitely help you. It's very detailed solution.
Yes.
Trust me on that. It's very detailed solution.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Sridhar, go on.
Sir, at time stand 33 minutes 23 seconds.
Okay. Formalized notation here. This one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Timestamp.
33 minutes 23 seconds.
Okay.
Sir, isn't this a pseudocode or code?
It is a code. Okay, this one you are saying, right? The one which is as a sub part of this 0.3.
Yes, sir.
It is a kind of a pseudocode, but it is not completely or clearly written code as you saw in any of the previous weeks, right?
Sir,
sir is trying to explain something which is partially pseudocode, or maybe do something else here, or I mean it's like more like a combination of pseudocode and some English statements, just trying to explain a concept. It's not the standard pseudocode which you usually see in previous weeks of lectures.
Sir, just explain me, sir, this producer consumer model, sir. Just I want.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to explain you, the producer consumer model earlier. So whatever I was trying to explain, right? If you understood that, don't worry too much about this one. Okay.
Okay. Sir.
What is happening is you focus on concept rather than a specific example. You may not, understanding this specific example of maths teacher and physics teacher will not help you in producer consumer in general. Okay. So understand producer consumer problem in general. If you understood that, you can apply that problem to any specific example. Okay. So over here, what is simply is what professor is doing, you have maths average, you have physics average. And based on that, you can find the overall average. Right. So what he's simply doing is you got maths average, you got buffer. So you can put that maths average into buffer. The maths teacher will do that. Physics teacher will put that physics average into the same into the buffer. And later on, as you keep doing that, at the end, you can find the class average based on these different averages. That's it. Nothing else is happening over there. But in general, that example will not help you understand producer consumer problem to that level. That's why I'll explain you with some, maybe a general example, maybe
Yes,
some
sir.
real-time
Yes.
example, so that, you know, it
Okay,
will
sir.
stay in your mind for a long time.
Okay.
And in fact, the same example is also used in the lectures also. That you went to a restaurant and you order a dosa, then a chutney and sambar also comes with it. You remember that in one of the lecture, I think
Yeah,
that
yeah, sir. I remember.
yeah, so it's the same thing. Consider that tray which you have, right? In which the restaurant staff will put these various items. That tray is a buffer.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
As every buffer has some limitations, the tray also has a limitation, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it has some dimension. You cannot put content beyond that given dimension, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, buffer has something called a size. As we discussed earlier, we can increase or decrease. I mean, you can bring a bigger tray or you can bring a smaller tray. That's a different story.
Yes, sir.
But
It is not fixed.
But it's not fixed. As per your requirement, you can do that. But once you pick it, it has some dimension, right?
Yeah.
It's not stretchable or something. Same thing like buffer. You have to initially at the beginning of your thing, you have to explain, okay, for now, the buffer size is, let's say it's fixed for 5.
Okay, sir.
In future, if I want, I can make it 10 or I can reduce it to 3. But right now I am going to consider it as 5, right? Like that's how you relate it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Next thing. In that particular example, who's producer?
Producer, sir.
The restaurant staff or the chef
yes, sir.
is the
Making the
producer,
food.
right?
Yeah.
The person who is making the food, or the person, I mean, or
delivering the food.
Literal terms, the one person who's putting that food on the tray is the producer in that case.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you being the person who ordered that food, or you are actually one who's going to consume that food, you become a consumer, right?
Yes, sir.
The thing is, I mean, this may not be directly applicable, but see, consider that the hotel or that particular restaurant is continuously producing food and putting on that buffer, on that tray.
Okay.
You may or may not have to wait for that buffer or the tray to get full. You might have ordered, let's say, 10 different items.
Yes, sir.
And maximum capacity of that tray to hold these different items is, let's say, 5.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not talking about these sambar and chutney and dosa being different items. I'm just considering it as a single item. Okay.
Okay.
So some 5 different dishes you have ordered. Sorry, you have ordered some 10 different dishes. 10 different dishes, and the maximum capacity of that tray is 5.
Okay.
You may or may not decide to wait for all your 10 items to come or all your 5 items to come. You go, the first ever item got produced by the restaurant. The restaurant staff put it on the tray. Now it's up to you to decide whether to wait for few more items to come, or you can straight away start eating, pick that item from there and start eating. That means you can consume even when there is one item.
Okay, sir.
But you cannot consume when tray is empty.
Yeah.
Right? So
yes,
consumer can come into action only when there is something to consume. Only when buffer size is greater than 0.
Okay, sir.
So I am slowly translating this into pseudocode, this example, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You consumer can come into action. So there will be some procedure, right? Consumer procedure, which will execute upon that buffer, right? So it can execute only when buffer size is greater than 0. Right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, producer can keep producing till when buffer size is
less than maximum amount.
Less than the maximum.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
So in this case, yeah, I gave an order of 10 different dishes, but they cannot put all 10 those items on the tray, right? Yeah. The maximum capacity of that tray to hold items is 5.
5.
So after putting those 5, consumer has to wait for, producer has to wait for consumer to consume. So even though the restaurant might have prepared the 6th item, they can't do anything. In ideal case, they should not even prepare 6th item when there is no place to put it.
But they can produce 6th item, sir, when I have consumed.
Yeah, they only after you consume.
Okay.
So what happens is, as you see even on the this particular slide, there is something called this wait, right?
Yes, sir.
So what happens is when the buffer is full, right?
Okay.
Producer goes into waiting state.
Okay, sir.
And I mean, in the general sense, in the way it is implemented in most of the computers is, or any of the real-time applications is, there is some waiting period. And after that waiting period, the producer will come again and will check whether the size is, the current size is less than max or not. It will have some time period, maybe let's say 2 minutes. So after every 2 minutes, producer will come, it will check. Is this current size less than max? No, it will again go in waiting state for 2 minutes. Again, it will come back, it will check. Right? So that waiting period is something which is predefined by the developer of the system. Right?
Yes, sir.
That is what happens there.
Sir, when he is coming back to look whether the buffer size is less than the maximum or not, is there any name to call this situation?
Buffer is full, right?
Yes, sir.
Simply buffer is full. There is no any
buffer is full, and the producer is in the waiting state.
Yeah, when buffer is full, producer has to be in waiting state. Okay.
Yes.
When buffer is full, producer has to be. There is no other way. Producer do not have any other choice. When buffer is full, the producer has to go into waiting state. Okay. The producer doesn't have choice at that point of time. When producer will have choice, when there is a space on buffer, like we saw that previous example.
Yes, sir.
There was space. Then producer had a choice whether it can produce 1, produce 2, or it can stay idle and go in a waiting state. In that case, it can go in waiting state. But when buffer is full, producer do not have any choice. It has to go in a waiting state. Similarly, for consumer, when buffer is empty, consumer do not have a choice. It has to go in a waiting state.
Waiting state. Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Understand it works on both sides.
Okay, sir.
One on a maximum side, one on a zero side.
Yes.
This is general idea behind producer consumer.
Okay, sir.
Okay. You keep producing until there is a space. I mean, you have a choice of producing until there is a space, and you have a choice of consuming until there is something.
Yeah.
That's the basic funda behind this whole producer consumer business.
Okay. Okay.
And
sir.
Total producing capacity or total consuming capacity can be less than or equal to, I mean, it has no relation with buffer size. It can be actually greater than total than buffer size, as we just discussed.
Yeah.
The buffer size is 5, but you can actually choose to give a place order of 10 items.
Yes, sir.
Only thing is you have to consume something, then only next thing will get
yes,
produced.
sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Just remember this general principle. You can apply to any example whenever you want.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. So yeah, we have already reached to 8 o'clock. So Divya, maybe some other time. And trust me, this particular graded assignment solution, sorry, not graded, practice assignment solution is very in detail.
I'll go through it. Yeah.
Yeah, please go through it. I'll quickly scroll it and just to show you the difference between any of the previous one, right? See, even in this case, every other option is explained why it's right or wrong.
Okay.
Individually. I mean, the one question which we discussed. Similarly here, these two options are right. First and fourth one is wrong. Again, all our options are explained why right or wrong.
Okay.
So this will definitely will help you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So go through it. Even beyond that, I mean, the forums are always open, or we can discuss this even in some other session. I mean, it's not the end of the session. We will have more sessions.
Sir, before Wednesday, could we have a Google Meet session?
Before Wednesday, as in tomorrow only, right? That's the only one day in between.
No, I mean, not before Wednesday. I mean, before the submission date. So it could be on Wednesday. Wednesday, in fact, is good.
No, Wednesday. Okay. Okay, let me see. I think some plan is there. Let me check with the team. Okay. Next session, as you see in the calendar, is scheduled on Thursday. I believe there is some plan on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure. Let me check and we will announce it. Nothing is announced so far on Telegram, right?
No, not yet,
Not
sir.
yet,
Preferably on Wednesday, because on Tuesday we already have 2 other sessions.
Okay.
In fact,
What's
3
the plan?
sessions.
Okay. What all sessions are there on Wednesday?
We have English from 11 to 12, maths from 4 to 6, and stats from 8 to 10.
Oh, so now what is the time there? 6 to 8.
Yeah, that becomes a little tight because usually there's an overrun of sessions. So
Yeah,
it would
I
be
mean-
nice if we could have it on Wednesday when we are completely free.
No, I'm Wednesday only. I'm asking. What is the schedule for Wednesday?
Oh no, I'm saying on Tuesday. Tuesday it's
No,
not good. So
Tuesday is
Wednesday
fine.
we are
Tuesday fine. I understand.
No,
Tuesday is
for
very
Wednesday.
Wednesday, nothing is there, no?
Yeah,
nothing
is there.
Yes.
Okay, okay,
That's
fine.
why I
Then
was like, it's on Tuesday. Then
Yeah,
why
so-
she's saying for
No, I meant that Tuesday. Please don't keep. It's better if you keep it on Wednesday.
okay, fine. Let me check my schedule for Wednesday and then I will announce it at the time. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. If not
Thank
me,
you.
then let me check with others also. But we will try to have some session on Wednesday. Some extra
Yeah.
session.
Yeah, that will be really helpful.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you,
We'll
sir.
close.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
करनी पड़ेगी, तो मतलब झाड़ू पोछा सफाई तो क्या, है ना, तो इनका